Two of the secrets to having a fulfilled leadership and life is perspective and expectations. So let me explain it this way, a situation that happened to me a few weeks ago. So I decided to take my dog, Rudy, who's an English Springer Spaniel, for a walk. And we took a walk on consecutive days. It was like late afternoon, early evening. One of the days, absolutely miserable. The other day, very enjoyable. So let me give you a little bit more context around these two walks. Okay, so one of the days was colder, and that would be day 2. The first day, day 1, was warmer. Do you know which one was more enjoyable? It actually was the colder day. Here's why. Okay, so day 1, the day that was a little bit warmer, okay, I got done with work and I decided to take Rudy for a walk. Now, I didn't look to see what the temperature was at all. I kind of had a thought in my mind. I thought it was like upper 50s. Okay, so we get outside and I was way wrong. The temperature was actually in like the, I think like low to mid 50s, but with the wind chill, it was like, felt like mid 40s, right? Was the feel like temperature. So it was windy, it was cold. I was frustrated. In fact, we did not go for that long of a walk. I cut it short just because it was just miserable, okay? Day 2 was colder, but I learned my lesson from that first day. And so I checked the temperature and I saw that this temperature was in the upper 40s and with the wind chill was like low 40, something like that. So I wore a coat and I wore gloves, and so I was ready to go. And you know what? That walk was absolutely enjoyable. In fact, Ruth and I, we ended up going for a 45-minute walk. So what changed? My perspective changed. Because I had a different perspective going into day 2, I could have proper expectations, and then I prepared accordingly. Unfortunately, for too many of us, whether we look at our leadership or just life in general, we have a distorted perspective that then leads to improbable or almost at times impossible expectations to be able to meet, right? So, example 1, right, just from life, right? You decide you're going to run errands and you're frustrated the entire time you're on errands because the person in front of you is not driving the speed that you think they should. There's too much traffic on the road. The lines are too long in the grocery store, right? Things aren't the way you thought they should. Or example 2, from our leadership, right? There are people, individuals, direct reports on your team, right? If you're a manager or supervisor, and they don't act the way you do. They don't do work or think the way you do, or they make sometimes these small mistakes and it irritates you. You have a certain perspective or expectation, and these people aren't meeting it. You see, frustration, it comes from unmet expectations. So I want to be careful here. What I'm not saying, please hear me say this, I'm not saying this, is that we need to lower our expectations. What we need to have is we need to have the proper perspective and expectations, ones that are realistic, right? So going to that leadership example, you see, we have to recognize that, man, we're all different. And we need to celebrate those differences, those things that make us unique, and really help cultivate the strengths in our direct reports, our fellow employees. And guess what? We also have to recognize people are going to make mistakes. We would never say this out loud, but too many times we think people should be perfect. And again, we wouldn't say that, but our expectations are they should be. So we should prepare in advance. How can we use those mistakes as opportunities to learn and grow? And then when it comes to life, I think the best perspective that we can have is that life is not going to cater to our needs. If I go grocery shopping at 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, it's probably going to be crowded. If I don't want to wait in the long lines, I should probably go at 6 or 7 in the morning. You see, we need to make sure that we have the proper perspective and expectations in our leadership and in our life. Because you see, when we do, we tend to enjoy both our leadership and our life's journey a little bit more. Let me leave you with our tweetable lesson. We can complain that roses have thorns, or rejoice that thorns have roses.